Starting this for everyone. As mentioned before, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. I feel like we have a pretty diverse group here geographically. It's really great to be back. Nicholas and I are happy to host our third session on from our AEM and Engineering Enablement User Group. We're really happy to have you. This topic that we're going to be talking about today is Adobe Target and personalization. We have two new hosts as well that'll be hosting with us for their first time, Abhinit and Purva, as well as presented by Nicholas and I. So just want to thank you all for joining and having us walk you through a little bit about Adobe Target. So a couple things that we're going to go over today before I go into all of our introductions. We're going to go through what is Adobe Target, what is personalization, what are some of the benefits of Adobe Target for personalization, creating personalized experiences, integration of AEM with Adobe Target, a little bit of a showcase, a little bit of a demo, and then understanding audiences to target your personalization and measuring results, and a summary of kind of what we went over, and have a little bit of a Q&A and some tips and tricks. And then I have some questions for our user group, especially if you're returning from where our past sessions. So to give you a little bit about us, our team here, about Bounteous. We were founded in 2003 in Chicago. Bounteous, we are the leading digital experience consultancy that co-innovates with the world's most ambitious brands to create transformative digital experiences with services like strategy and insights, experience design, technology, analytics, and marketing. Bounteous elevates brand experiences and drives superior client outcomes. And I would say we're pretty cool and awesome people too. So just a little bit about my team here with me today. My name is Christopher Sands. As I mentioned, I'm located just north of Detroit, Michigan, here on the East Coast. I'm their team coordinator for our Adobe team, as well as a senior front-end developer. And I will pass it off to Purva for some other introductions.
Hey everybody, I'm Purva. I have been with Bounteous for 4 years now, based out of Seattle. Excited to have this session. It's my very first one. Abhinit, wanna go next?
Sure. Hey, hello everyone. I am Abhinit Bhatnagar. I am an AEM lead architect here at Bounteous. I live in the wonderful city of Mississauga in Greater Toronto area in Canada. I have a total experience of about 15 years in IT and have worked in a couple of different CMS tools and a variety of industry domains. But majority of my experience has been on AEM. It's been around 12 years, so it's been a long journey, starting from when it was called DAY, CQ 5.5, and now we all talk about cloud. So yeah, it's been fantastic. It's wonderful to see you all join today and excited to be talking to you all. I will pass it over to Nicholas.
Hey everybody, if you joined before, you know me. Nicholas Chipping, I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah, and I'm here to talk about Target with everyone else. So hope you enjoy it. I've been with Bounteous for like 4.5 years, so that's it. Now back to Chris.
All right, well, I'm going to jump back to the first slide because I have some questions for everyone. First of all, before we really get started and pass off to Purva, I'd like to know, you can use the chat or you can feel free to speak up. I was kind of curious how you heard about us and heard about our chapter. We're not meant to be just a complete echo chamber of folks here just from the Bounteous side, but we'd love to collaborate with you. So I'd love to hear about how you heard about us. Anyone? LinkedIn, there we go.
You can pick on Megan or Justin.
Yeah, exactly.
Megan just spoke up.
Oh, awesome. Well, that's great to hear. And so what do these user groups mean to you? I mean, I think a lot of what the user group represents came a lot out of, a lot of us joined meetups to collaborate together on a technological standpoint and on a social standpoint on working with, certain technology stacks. And just kind of curious what the user group means to you and how you'd like to kind of participate. I mean, you can feel free to unmute or you can throw something in the chat. I'm, just looking to not be a talking head for you today. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Mark. Yeah, thanks for joining and for liking us enough to come back. Awesome, definitely. Yeah, I think there's a big focus on figuring out how folks can actually implement Target in a practical way. So that's great to hear, Mark, that you'd like to understand a little bit more about it. Um, are you looking for anything specific out of our chapter? Our title of our chapter kind of recognizes that we're here to enable other developers and other engineering teams. If you have any suggestions or anything that you'd specifically like to talk about, I'd love to hear about it after the session. Just make sure to ping me, add me, or add any of us on LinkedIn, and we'd love to figure out how we can collaborate more and generate more discussion around a lot of the different topics that we've been coming up with. Oh, that's great. Thank you, Megan. Oh, awesome. All right. Well, yeah, thank you all. And yeah, don't be afraid to connect with us and chat with us after. And I think what I'd like to do is jump right into Porva talking a little bit about what is Adobe Target.
Thanks, Chris. So let's get started. What is Adobe Target? It is a personalization and targeting platform by Adobe Experience Cloud. It allows businesses to create and deliver targeted content, offers, experiences. It also helps marketers optimize their digital marketing efforts by using machine learning and analytics to tailor content and experiences. What we are looking at with this tool is improved engagement, conversions, overall customer satisfaction. According to Adobe, you can find that one customer out of a million and give them what they want. All right. What do you see in the slide here? Anybody? To give you context, I was browsing the web for hiking trails for the weekend. And then when I opened my devices, I was held accountable, rather encouraged to take that hike. So yeah, this is a very good example of personalization, which involves using data and insights to customize content and messaging for your users with the aim to provide them with information, products, and services to match their interests and needs. So it is key to improving user engagement and conversions. Abhineet will touch more on this in a bit. But yeah, we can go to the next slide, Chris. What are the benefits of using Adobe Target? Personalization, which we just saw. You can amplify personalization based on behavior, preferences, demographics. Journey-based communication is always essential. Cross-channel consistency. As we saw, deliver consistent experiences across various digital channels helps maintain that unified brand image and give a consistent messaging strategy to drive loyalty at every customer touchpoint. This also encourages cross-sell opportunities. Testing and optimization. Testing and optimization with Target, you can perform multivariate testing, A/B testing, compare different variations of content, layout, offers. So take the guesswork out and give users what resonates best with them. Automation and machine learning. So not just test and personalize, but test and personalize at scale. So Adobe Sensei is internally used in Target, utilizing the capabilities of Sensei to automatically adopt and optimize content delivery based on real-time data. Next is segmentation. This, I think, create audience segments based on various criteria to enable targeted messaging to specific group of users, increasing the relevance of communication. This is what we essentially need. And last but not the least, Adobe Target integrates with Adobe platforms and other Experience Cloud products like Analytics, Campaign, allowing businesses to create that seamless end-to-end customer experience. With that, let me pass over to Abhineet to delve a little bit more onto each of these.
All right, thank you, Purva. Hello again, everyone. Let's expand on some of the personalization aspects that Purva touched upon. We all know that Target can be used to personalize a customer's experiences. Creating personalized experiences in Target involves a strategic approach to tailor content and interactions to individual users. Now, here's how you can achieve this in a step-by-step process. These are laid out in anti-clockwise direction and should help in understanding and going through the process of creating personalized experiences with the help of Target. Let's talk about customer segmentation first. We begin by understanding who we are aiming to reach using data about their age, interests, how they act, etc. This helps us to use Adobe Target's audience builder to make smaller groups within this audience. Think about where they live, what they have looked at online, or what they have bought before. This helps us tailor our messages and content to fit each group better, making their experience more enjoyable and relevant. Data collection and integration. When Adobe Target integrates with our customer relationship management systems, analytics, data platforms, it's like bringing different pieces of puzzles together. This combination helps gather all kinds of information about users, like what they like, how they act, what are they interested in. And by putting all this info in one place, we can understand users better, like knowing what they prefer and how they behave online. This makes it possible to create better experiences that match what users want, leading to more meaningful interactions and happier users. Content personalization. You can design personalized content variations for the different audience segments then. This could include tailored product recommendations or specific messaging or imagery and specific calls to action, etc. With Target's Visual Experience Composer, we can create unique content for different groups of people, such as showing them products they might like, using words and pictures that connect with them, and suggesting actions they might want to take. This helps us make sure each person feels like we are talking directly to them, which makes their experience smoother and more enjoyable. And all of this can happen without extensive coding as well. A/B testing and optimization. We can set up A/B tests in Target to compare personalized experiences against a control group to measure the effectiveness of our personalization efforts. We can continuously refine and optimize the personalized experiences based on A/B test results and user feedback. Think of A/B testing as trying out 2 different flavors of ice cream to see which one people like more. This is lunchtime, so it goes with this. In the same way, we test different versions of our website or app to see which one users prefer. We use the one that gets better results, like more people clicking or staying on our site. We also listen to what users say to make the experiences even better, just like how we might, add more chocolate chips if people love them in their ice cream. So overall, this helps us create a website or app that users love and finds easy to use. Machine learning and automation. Adobe Target's AI-powered algorithms can be utilized here to automate and optimize personalization efforts. These algorithms can learn from user interactions to dynamically adapt content for each individual. Imagine having a helpful robot that watches how you move and suggests things you might like. Adobe Target does something similar with its smart algorithms. These algorithms learn from how to use a website or an app and then change things to fit what you like. It's like if the robot friend saw that Purva loves outdoor adventure, it started showing her more options around it. This makes your experience smoother because everything feels just right for you, like magic. With Adobe Target's smart algorithms, the website or app can change itself to match what you enjoy. Multi-channel personalization. Much talked about, Target helps extend personalization across various channels such as web, mobile, email, etc. It ensures consistent messaging and branding while tailoring content to fit each channel's unique context. Now, think of it as a marketing campaign to be shown in different places. With tailored experiences, the content looks and feels the same everywhere. even if there might be changes to some parts to fit where it is being shown. This way, no matter where you read or see it, the experience is familiar. At the same time, it also feels right in each spot. Talking about real-time personalization, you can also implement real-time personalization using Adobe Target's APIs and integrations to deliver dynamic content based on user behavior during the current session. Imagine a magic book that changes its story as you read it. Adobe Targets does something similar on websites. It uses special tools to see what you're doing right now and then shows you things that match. If you're looking at shoes to go for a hiking, it might show you more shoes. So this happens right away. Like, again, I said magic. So it feels like the website knows exactly what you want, making your visit super cool and easy. Personalized recommendations. With Target, you can implement recommendation engines as well that suggest products or content based on a user's browsing or purchase history. They leverage machine learning to enhance the accuracy of recommendations over time. Recommendation engines look at what users have viewed or bought before and then show them more things they might enjoy. These engines are like super learners. The more they see what you like, the better they get at suggesting things. Lastly, monitoring and compliance. With Target, it is extremely crucial to regularly monitor key metrics such as engagement rates, conversion rates, revenue, etc., to assess the impact of your personalized experiences. One can use Adobe Analytics or other analytics tools to gain deeper insights into user interactions and behaviors. Think of it like keeping score in a game. When we personalize things on a website, we want to see if people are happy and if they buy things. We use tools like Adobe Analytics to count how many people are interested and how many actually buy. This helps us know if our personalized changes are working well. Additionally, it is important to ensure that the personalization efforts adhere to relevant privacy regulations and obtain user consent where necessary. To summarize, successful personalized experiences require an ongoing process of testing, learning, and refining. We need to stay adaptable and responsive to user feedback and changing trends to continuously enhance the personalized experience in Adobe Target. We can move on to the next slide. Yep. Now let's talk about how to integrate AEM with Adobe Target. Integrating AEM with Target involves a series of steps that to ensure seamless collaboration and effective personalization. Here is a high-level overview of the integration process. First of all, creating an Adobe IMS technical account configuration that happens within AEM. Then creating and configuring the project in Adobe IA console, the details of which can be updated into the IMS technical account configuration for it to work. If needed, verify the permissions in Adobe console. Create a Target Cloud service account configuration in AEM, and finally validate the connection. Okay, so these are the high-level steps, but now let's see how all this can be done through a quick demo. So for this, I will go ahead and share my screen. Thank you, Chris. Okay, please let me know once you're able to see the screen.
Yeah, you can see it.
Okay, great. So here you can see I'm logged into one of our dev sandboxes, and this is AEM as a cloud instance. There are similarities in the way that you integrate AEM with Target between cloud and an AMS version. There is just one minor difference, and I will talk through it when we get to it. But for now, I will start by going to Tools, Security, going to Adobe IMS Configurations, and I will go ahead and create one configuration here. The cloud solution that we're talking about here is Adobe Target. And then I'm going to go ahead and create a new certificate. It's lunchtime and I talked about ice cream. So let's name it as Ice Cream Target Demo. How about it? Okay, so this is going to be generated here. And now I can go ahead and download the public key. I can click on download here, and that has been downloaded. Okay, so now I can go on to the next screen here. I can continue the naming as Target Demo so that we can jump onto our lunches and desserts right after this. I need some more details like authorization server, API key, client secret, payload. I don't have them right now because we need to have that connected through our Adobe project. So I'm gonna go to my developer console here. We can use an existing project, add an API for Target to it, or we can create a new project. In this case, I'm gonna go ahead and create a new project. Says your project was created successfully. Always remember to name, you provide your project with a title, otherwise it just goes on with those numberings, which can be very difficult at times. So yeah, I have my ice cream target demo, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add an API. I will filter it through Experience Cloud, and there we see Adobe Target. There's a checkbox here, and then I will go to next. Now here, as you see, we have two types of authentication. One is OAuth server to server. The other one is service account JWT. You can see that it is shown as deprecated. Now, we actually ran into an issue previously with a couple of clients where when we were trying to integrate with OAuth server to server, it had some limitations by when we wanted to integrate with AEM. We actually reached out to Adobe, and they're still working on it. There is some way that you can migrate it as of now, but for now, we need to go ahead and create the service account JWT authentication so that it can still be integrated into AEM. And when I talk about that, I would also like to show you that when we click on the service account JWT, it also shows some learn more, and you can find all the information about the details here. And second, yeah. So this must be migrated to the new credential by January 1, 2025. So we are still good to use JWT by the time all is set and all the issues are resolved. Also, there is another deprecation timeline that I wanted to quickly show here, because that is what we came across when we were having all those discussions, that still April 30, 2024, you can still go ahead and create new application using JWT. That is going to work absolutely as would have worked with previously. But after that, you have to migrate it before January 1, 2025. So like I said, Adobe is still working on it, so we can continue to use JWT for now. That is the preferred way. When I click next, we have two options here: generate a key pair and upload your public key. I am gonna select the file that we just now generated and upload it here. So it has been uploaded successfully. Clicking on next, it's gonna show the public key here. So we are all good with it. Moving on to the next screen. So here we have to select the product profiles. Basically, these are the workspaces in Target that people are working with. For the purpose of this demo, I'm just gonna go with one default workspace, but you can go ahead and select as many as you want as per your requirement, and then save configured API. Takes a few seconds to save this, and your API was configured successfully. So all good here. And once it loads the screen, it is gonna show us the API details. Don't
worry, it always happens during a demo.
Yes,
This is a live demo.
my laptop is also acting up, I think. Yeah, it never takes that long. So yeah, okay, there you go. Yes, there was something internal server error, but anyway, like you said, it always happens in the live demo. But one more thing that I want to emphasize here is the consistent messaging that Adobe has provided here. You would see that the deprecation message has been displayed on various different levels, and then you can always go and check all the information related to it, which is a good thing to do. So we are going to click on the JWT, again, the messaging, and if we scroll down, we have all our credential details here. So I will start copying this client ID, go back to my IMS technical account screen and add it into the API key. For the client secret, go back here and add it to the client secret. And then I will generate the JWT payload, copy from here and add it here. Now, all we need is authorization server that can be copied from the JWT payload itself. And there you go. So I will go ahead and create this, and this is done. I can see my ice cream target demo here. Cool. So this is first step done. The next thing is to go ahead and create your cloud service configuration. So I'm going to go to cloud services, and that is where the difference comes. When you are on AMS, you would usually do it into the legacy cloud services, but on the cloud, you can just go to cloud services and select Adobe Target from here. So that is the only minor difference between how you configure between the cloud and the AMS servers. I have a folder that the config folder that I'm going to use here. So create a new configuration. I will continue giving it ice cream target demo, did I say? And then this is the client code. We should be able to see that the client code or the tenant ID right on the target URL usually. You don't really have to dig deeper for it, which is great. So you add your target tenant ID and then you select your configuration. I can check mark this synchronize segments from Adobe Target because that's what we want to do, and then click on connect. There you go, connection successful. So these are all the steps, pretty easy, pretty simple. This is how you integrate AEM with Target, and then you can now start maybe exporting your experience fragments into Target and then start creating your activities in Target. I will stop my sharing here because that's all I have, and then give it back to Chris.
All right, let me share my screen.
We can't hear you, Chris.
Oh,
I
can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, we can hear
Yes.
you.
Oh, there we go. All right, yeah, thank you, Abhinav, for that showcase. And let's jump on to Nicholas.
All right. Thanks, Abhinav. Good explanation. And he makes it seem simple, but if you mess up any one of those 100 steps, then it's not simple. So just make sure to follow
And of course,
it really closely.
and of course, it'll always happen during a demo.
Okay. All right. So I put a couple different pictures here of different audiences, just to give an example that any business might want to target any number of audiences, and they might have very different interests and needs. So that is the whole point of audiences in Target. So let's go to the next slide. All right. So basically, you can choose who you want to target with your given test. Audiences can be customized quite a bit, which is really cool. There's a list of attributes that Target has that you can use for setting them up, and then Boolean operators. So you can set it up to be, I included a screenshot here of include, and then you can see the ors there. We can change either of those to an and then you can also do another whole set of include and have it be like that one set with its individual ors inside of it, and then and the whole other subset. So it can be decently complex. You can build these out quite a bit. But basically it just allows you to really customize how you want Target to define and decide when to fire these rules for your different content. So some of the attributes are like for a location, for geo, what network they're on. You can even target how fast their network is. So if you don't want people under a certain speed to see like a video that you have on your website, you can just replace it with an image because you know they'll have a poor experience, for example. Those sorts of things. So let's move on. And basically the way that we can use this, it increases our speed and the way that we can more quickly get content to the right people. So as an example, I put here, if you commonly target users in a specific state using a specific operating system, you can create an audience to target them. So you don't have to build that out or specify it manually every time. You just name your audience like Kansas Mac users, and maybe everyone in Kansas who uses a Mac, you want them to get this certain experience on your website. I do suggest looking into them separately. We can share this deck out after, but I have links to the documentation for creating these and all the different attributes that are available. But there's benefits to some of them, or all of them. There's some drawbacks, so I would just suggest looking into them, making sure that you understand what you're going to be using them for. And I just included another example to show another option, basically. But yeah, let's move forward. Okay, so digging further into audiences, there's something called profile scripting. So it's basically a way that you can get more specific data about a user and target them even a little bit better. So when Porva and Avinit were mentioned, they were mentioning like multiple devices and having your experience kind of sync up across those. That is one thing that you would definitely need a profile script for. Whereas Adobe Launch or other tag management systems, you can use to fire different JavaScript, and it can be very helpful in the sense that those you typically have more control of, like, well, I don't want this rule to fire for every single user on every page. I only want it to fire when someone lands on this page. Profile scripts are going to run all the time on every page. So you do want to be careful how often you're using them, but they are very beneficial. They don't rely on like things like cookies. So if people are clearing their cookies while browsing your site, this way you're not going to lose track of who this customer is. You'll be able to keep targeting them properly. So on the next slide, we're going to talk a little bit more about profile scripts, just kind of the benefits of scripting versus tag management. So one idea that scripting is used for commonly is basically when you set up multiple tests in Target, you want to make sure that you may not have a user that's experiencing all of the tests at once. So maybe you have 3 A/B tests. So you're going to randomly assign each user with a profile script to a separate group. And those groups, based on their groups, they will only get one of those 3 tests. Oh, sorry, Chris, I was wondering if that was an issue. Okay, good. You can hear me. All right. Sorry, I got distracted. But anyway, that's a definitely helpful use case for using that. Another one is sometimes tag management has a specific process where you want to go through releases, and obviously that makes sense for different clients and things. But sometimes if you need to do a scripting can allow you to just get that in there and test it right away without having to use Launch or another tag management system. And also combining profiles, like we mentioned, basically you can use like a third-party inbox ID that if someone logs into a site on their mobile phone, it automatically is going to merge their profile, their anonymous profile, with that logged in profile. And then they have that logged in profile on their desktop and not maybe on their laptop. So it's going to merge all of that data together to give them a synonymous experience. Launch, on the other hand, is very helpful for using JavaScript in general, and it's really flexible, and there's potentially like performance impacts if you're using profile scripts on every page. So definitely using Launch for a lot of other scripting is helpful. You can push information into a profile using Launch, which I would suggest based on the rules that you're using. So let's move to the next one. And then we also want to know how things are performing. So let's talk about measuring results. And I know we're getting short on time, so I'll try and go quick through these. They're pretty simple. The conversion metric is the first one. Basically, it's meaning something happened on the site. So as you can see in the screenshot here, basically you can say, did someone view this page or this inbox or click on something on my page? And then you can specify that in there. The next one after conversion is revenue. So this is basically something happened, money was involved. There's different reporting avenues for revenue, but most of the time in the things that I've seen, revenue per visitor is pretty commonly used. You do want to make sure that whenever you're using revenue for a reporting metric, make sure that the total, the order ID, and the product purchased are all being passed into the metadata. Otherwise, you're not going to have a proper collection of information for this metric. So then after revenue, we get revenue still. You can also specify a little bit further with revenue, which is kind of cool. An audience. So basically think of it like you have a broad audience at first, and then a little bit more refined of an audience. So maybe you're targeting people who are in a specific state on a specific operating system. But then once you get to this revenue piece, you're saying, well, we only want brand new users. If they've been to our site before, we don't want to target them, even if they live in this state. We just want the brand new users of this state and that sort of thing. So you can get a little more specific on this metric, which is helpful. And then let's jump to engagement. So this is just basically someone is interacting with the site. There's basic things like page views and how much time they're spending on the site, but one of the more helpful ones for a lot of customers is custom scoring. So you can give it, you can define and target which pages are valuable to you. So let's say your home page is worth 25 points, and maybe your checkout page is worth 50 points for Gryffindor. So you can throw different things in there like that. And then obviously the report will give you all that information to help you understand which pages are performing and which tests are driving people to the right pages. So finally, let's talk about reports really quick. I just want to hit on this. There's really basic reports that Target will offer. I don't suggest using them. And most clients will not use them. Most clients will use Adobe Analytics and tie it into Target, because as you can see, like there's some information here on how much conversion is happening and what's going on, but it's pretty basic and you can't really customize the report. This is just exactly what you get. And it's also generated on the fly for you. It's not like a pre-generated, it's not figured out beforehand. So if we go to an analytics report, you'll see there's a lot more detailed information, and you see there's these metrics and segments on the side. Like you can pull different things in to customize your report as you need based on what data you're looking for, so that you can really define clearly, okay, this is performing for this specific thing really well. So just as an example, but anyway, that's about it for reporting. So we can move on to tips and tricks with Avani.
Sure. Well, I walked you through the steps for integration, but we also wanted to summarize some of the tips and tricks we learned during the process so that it can help you all as well. First of all, since the integration requires performing some steps in different systems, it is important for you to know what are those different systems, what are the different accesses you would need. You'll need to make sure you have permissions within your AEM instance to create configurations. You should have permissions to your Adobe IO console. I had the system admin permissions, but during the process, you may need to verify the permissions in Adobe console for the Adobe IO user for AEM and Target. So you may need that as well. And then you will also need target access in order to know the tenant ID and in order to validate once you export, say for an example, an experience fragment from AEM to Target. Secondly, like I mentioned earlier, we had some issues while we tried to configure the OAuth server-to-server authentication for a couple of clients. And that's how we came to know that there are certain limitations here. So for now, you can continue to use the service account JWT method, and you just need to make sure that you plan with your teams to have it migrated to OAuth server-to-server in future before January 1, 2025. That's the date. And lastly, it is important to understand and work with your target teams as they may have specific requirements to work within their designated workspaces. Hence, you need to make sure you select the right workspaces for integration and you have the appropriate permissions for it. So yeah, that is what I had to share as part of these tips and tricks.
Yeah, thank you, Abani, and thank you, Nicholas and Porva. We'd like to open it up for questions. If anyone on the call has any questions or any comments. You can type them out or even unmute if you'd like to.
I have one question related to the JWT configuration. So is it only to export experience fragments from AEM to Target, or I think we just added Adobe Target extension in launch, and we are loading it on our site. I don't think we have a JWT configuration. I'm not sure. I did not work on it, but is it only to export experience fragments, or is it a mandatory step?
No, it is not a mandatory step. It's basically the AEM to Target integration and exporting anything that you want to maybe from AEM to Target. So you need a certain authentication that can enable that communication between the two systems. And in order to enable that, we have those OAuth authentication, OAuth server to server and JWT. So once you are able to establish that authentication between these two systems, then we should be able to have them communicate, and you can export your content, even content fragments now, and experience fragments to Target.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. And just a couple of quick reminders, and thank you for the question, Srikanth. We definitely believe that implementing Target is a team sport amongst analytics teams and development teams. So always keep that in mind. It is definitely not a not the role and responsibility for one person. So definitely, as you go through your implementations, just think of it as a team sport. It is definitely something that will help kind of keep that perspective. And I had some questions for anyone else in the call. Has anyone else tried to implement Adobe Target and had any challenges? If they had anything that was that they thought was the most challenging, or they thought that was the most seamless. And then maybe, are you getting any value out of Adobe Target? If you have implemented, or you're just not seeing value out of it, does anyone have any thoughts there?
This we implemented, we integrated Target, but actually we could not come up with real-time scenarios to target customers. Ours is a manufacturing site, electronics manufacturing site, website. I mean, there were no issues with respect to implementation. We just added the Target extension in launch, and through launch, we are trying A/B testing, multivariant testing, but actually we could not come up with business or real-time scenarios, how to target customers, or how to segment, how to create segments or audiences, on what basis we need to create. So it's more of business, not implementation question.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I think also, besides the AEM engineering chapters that we have here, I believe there's also some analytics and specifically business related, target related chapters that I think this would be a great topic for them to maybe hone in on how to, handle A/B testing. So if anyone here from any of those other chapters, I think that'd be a great topic for everybody. Me personally, I'm a front end developer, so I don't have all the business logic attached to my knowledge, but so that's a great idea. And just to give folks a couple other quick things that we're thinking about over the next couple quarters, we have a couple upcoming topics that we're thinking about and would love to get some of your help, feedback, even some collaboration on. We're looking at doing a topic for Adobe Franklin, looking at rapid development environments, RDEs, talking about headless AM integration, multi-site setup and operation. So if anyone has any thoughts or any ways they'd like to contribute, and we can chat together. I really don't want to be a talking head, so I'd love to collaborate with folks. And I think a lot of us harken back to the days of being able to collaborate together on meetup and things like that. So if you'd like to somehow contribute or would like to chat more or create some even working sessions during some of these chapter meetings, would love to have it. So just reach out to us on LinkedIn, and we'll make sure to get connected with you. So Nicholas or Abhinit or Purva,
I just want to get back to the question you asked, Chris.
Sure, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Stephen. I'm our director of our AM practice here at Bounteous, and I just want to give a quick, some anecdotes because where I've seen Target used really effectively, we developed a booking engine for a travel and hospitality client, and we didn't do a lot of audience creation. A lot of the audiences that we used were completely random. So we'd have a control group that got the current experience, and then 50% or some percentage of users got the other experience. And they tested things like even as simple as button colors, all the way up to brand new experiences for, should we show a single rate or should we show a collection of multiple rates on the side of the rooms, and let them pick from those experiences and then be able to see how those converted. Did one of them convert better? Were the conversions more valuable? Like maybe people did more upsells. There was a lot of flexibility in there. And I would hazard a guess that they've done in the last 3 or 4 years, probably at least 100 different tests of that nature, and have really dialed in their site and the experience. So once you've built a site and the site is up and running, that's like the perfect time to really start leaning into, well, how can we make this better, and start, creating a hypothesis of, I wonder if we change this color, if we, drew more attention to this, and then figure out how you're going to test that hypothesis with Target and A/B testing. Does anyone else have any, ways that they've used Target or ways that they'd like to use Target?
I'm going to pick on you, Mark. Have any thoughts on what you'd like to use Target for specifically, or Megan or anyone else? It's all right, Mark. I appreciate it. And this is meant to be just kind of an ongoing conversation with the chapter. So if anyone has feedback or questions, definitely reach out to us. And we all really appreciate you all joining, and hope you find some value and have some of your questions answered throughout this entire process. So if we're doing a great job, let us know. If we're doing a bad job, let us know. We'd love to continue to evolve this process and get to know you all a little bit better. So any passing thoughts, Nicholas, Purva, Abhinit, or Stephen?
I just want to go get ice cream.
Yeah, it's wonderful to have everyone who joined here. So yeah, I'm looking for more such cool interactions in the future.
Agreed.
Thank you, guys.
Great. Well,
Thanks for this.
yeah. Thank you all for joining, and you should see I will be sending out the recording and the presentation with the recording through I believe it's through the chapter software. So hopefully you'll be able to get that, and yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care, everyone, and have a great Wednesday.
Thank you.
Share your ice cream selfies.
Exactly. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.